Here again, another edition of Boxing Chit. Myself, Josh, along with the Boz in the building here. What's going on with your Boz?
Not much, it's just a lazy Sunday afternoon, and yeah, I'm resting after one hell of a night. Yeah, evening of boxing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes, certainly. And some nights are bigger, grander than others, and this is one
Mm,
of those where we just had one of the biggest events in boxing this year. We've had quite a few big ones, but this is one of the bigger events and certainly will be one of the biggest when we look back on it in recollection for all that took place this year. And it featured an undisputed light heavyweight championship match. And that was, of course, Artur Beterbiev taking on Dmitry Bivol. Highly anticipated matchup that we've been looking for a number of years now. We finally get this. And the card in itself was a pretty solid card overall. So it was actually three championship fights that took place on the card, in addition to world championship fights, I should say, in addition
yeah.
to the light heavy, well, what including the light heavyweight championship matchup, which was undisputed. But you also had two other belts on the line, cruiserweight, and then featherweight title on the women's side. But
Mm.
that being said, some other good fights that were taking place as well. So we can jump straight into it there, Boz. And of course, we'll start with the big shebang. That's the main event of them all. And that was Beterbiev Bivol in what was a good fight that might have been marred by judging for some
Yeah.
consideration there. For those that don't know, of course, it ended up being a split decision or majority related
Majority.
decision. Yeah, majority decision
Yeah.
with one judge having it a draw, two other judges having it in favor of Artur Beterbiev, who becomes a new undisputed world light heavyweight champion, the first time in a long time. And
Mm.
hey, the
Yeah.
fans got a good fight. Is what we wanted. A pretty solid, good
Mm.
overall fight. But as far as the verdict, something to be questioned. What were your thoughts there, Boz?
Yeah, that was a very controversial verdict, indeed. I mean, I myself had Bivol winning by 1 or 2 points. I'm not sure there. Round seven was very even. So, that might have been an even round or a Bivol round. So, anyway, if I would score that even, then it would be 115, 114 for Bivol. Otherwise, 115, 113. Yeah. The thing is, Bivol kind of, yeah, he did kind of run a little too much in the late rounds. And that kind of, we see now shades of De La Hoya Trinidad there. The judges tend to kind of punish the guy who thinks I got this in the bag. I don't now I can take it easy and run for the last three rounds. However, Bivol did come back in the 12th round and landed a beautiful combination, and I thought that was enough to give him that round also. And a lot of better BS punches actually didn't land. That people it looked like they were landing when he had him against the ropes and was throwing bang bang bang, but a lot of it didn't land really. And before I saw him post fight interview today, I saw where he said that a lot of it, his face was, he had bruises, and but he claims that because he was hitting his hands and they made the bruises his own hands. But anyway, I mean, Beterbiev scored some good punches, and I think probably his best punches were to the body. Yeah, some of his best punches. So we all really did beautiful work. Like
Mhm.
well, at least half the fight he was really beautiful to watch with his combinations. Yeah, counter punching and all that. But not once. Somebody says here that he had Beterbiev 117, 111. wow. I don't know what to say to that. I think I would not agree at all with that. But yeah, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, of course. Of course. But I just thought it was a bad decision, and I think only the Spanish referee who scored even, as far as I remember, he was probably the only one who isn't in anybody's pocket here. So I mean, so I mean, yeah, just I think I saw also online many people were angry at the decision. So it's good to know that I'm not alone there. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
No,
it
I
is.
understand where you're coming from. So real quick, shout out to Miter Spin who dropped by. Appreciate you there, Miter
Hey,
Spin. Shout out
is it
to Jesus M in the mix here as well. Appreciate you there, Jesus, and sharing your comments and thoughts. So yeah, I'm with you there, Boz, in terms of based on what I saw, and I do need to go watch it again. I thought that Bivol was ahead and probably should have got that nod in the contest. Now, a good point made by Jesus in relation to there were some damaging punches by Beterbiev.
yeah,
Like he
because
said, not as
he is the
many.
hard puncher. Sorry, he is the hard puncher, and I'll tell you one thing: if Bivol punched as hard as Beterbiev, he would have gotten him out of there, no question. Because he was landing some really eye-catching shots there. But Beterbiev is a tough guy, and Bivol just doesn't punch that hard like Beterbiev. So yeah.
Oh yeah, certainly. Cheers there. Jose Diaz in the mix as well. Says what's good. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you there, Jose. Thanks for dropping by. But yes, I'm with you there. I do think that a number of the punches that Beterbiev was throwing, they were being blocked by Bivol. Now,
Mm.
some did get through. Of course, he had some success, but I did think
Yeah.
that a number were being blocked. And you're right, there were some exchanges, especially countering, where Bivol was landing some hard shots as well. So I
Yeah.
felt it wasn't a situation where he wasn't exchanging with him. He actually took some risk in the contest, as far as I'm concerned, when he would stand in the middle and basically
Definitely.
exchange and trade with Beterbiev. I think what it came down to ultimately is that Artur Beterbiev had a hard time getting his punches set, especially through the early part of the contest, because Bivol,
Mm.
he is a smart fighter. He knew when to dip in and out, get his backs off the rope or get his back off the ropes and take things back to the center of the ring, essentially. And for Artur Beterbiev, of course, that meant that he found himself chasing Bivol for a good deal of the contest. And when you're just there chasing, you're not throwing punches. So I think you can have the momentary sensation of seeing a punch thrown and say, oh, that's hard, that landed, or whatnot. But it was certainly to a lesser degree from Artur Beterbiev. So there is something to the way that Bivol was able to pretty much outpoint him, landing crisp shots
Mm.
that showed that he was essentially the ring general there.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think was missed by some of the judges in this contest as well. And it's not that
Yeah.
Beterbiev didn't have his moments. Of course, he did. But if you just look at who controlled and was the general of that fight, it was certainly Dmitry Bivol, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I could say, all right, I could forgive someone for scoring this a draw. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, why not? But to give a Beterbiev 7 or 8 rounds, and I mean, I just don't understand that. Like, based on what? On the number of punches he threw. That's not how you judge fights. It's the punches that actually land, that matter. Only that. So it doesn't matter if he was the aggressor, which he wasn't all the way through the fight. But you might say in the second half, yeah, kind of. Even though Bivol had it also his moments where he was aggressive still. in the second half and was landing some good, beautiful shots, really. So, yeah, Beterbiev was kind of just mauling him and, being the bully, but he wasn't really doing that much damage, obviously, or otherwise he would have him, it's not knocked down, in real, like, kind of survival mode, Bivol,
Oh yeah.
like really holding and covering up and stuff like that, which he didn't do really. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt that wasn't the case either. There were some moments he was blocking, of course, and he was backing up. He spent some time on the back foot and some time on the front foot. And as I mentioned, I think one of the more glaring things was the fact that Beterbiev, he wasn't able to effectively cut the ring off Bivol like he had been able to do with others. The way he pounded out the likes of Calum Smith, he was able to eventually cut the ring off and just start to pound. He wasn't able to do that with Bivol. And when he did land some of those good exchanges or those good blows to the body and all that stuff, yes, they looked damaging and all, but Bivol was never in a situation where you felt that he was about to go out. He was going to be knocked down, knocked out, or whatnot. And I think that certainly factors in. And the sharp counters, as I mentioned, that Bivol was landing, those were some big shots, some head snapping shots.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty glaring. You couldn't miss.
I remember, I think that might have been the 7th round when Bivol landed that left hook. Like he was against, well, not against the ropes, but close to them. And then he just, you see, Beterbiev said kind of snap, from that left hook.
And in one of those rounds, I don't know if it was that when he looked to have Beterbiev hurt when he landed a counter and then started to land some combination. And so Beterbiev, he charged forward and started to swing on his own. But certainly he was feeling those shots from Bivol, despite the fact that Beterbiev is considered a bigger puncher. No question he was feeling those shots. And then if you look at the body language there towards the end of the contest, and as the scores were being read, even the commentators on the top ranked side, who seemed to certainly be rooting for Artur Beterbiev, they acknowledged that it looked as though he had lost this contest.
I thought so too. Yeah, they were, especially one of them. Was it? I don't know who it was. Sounded like Max Kellerman or whatever.
Maybe not Max. He's no longer ESPN, but it was
right. But it was somebody like, it sounds like him. But yeah, he was really on riding Beterbiev's tail all the time. Like, he wasn't really calling out.
Bernardo Osuna, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I was really annoyed with that. Like, why be a fanboy if you are a commentator? You're not supposed to react like a fanboy. But you see that, you hear that all the time in these fights, these broadcasts.
Yeah. But and so one of the judges, Boz had a 116-112 in favor of Artur Beterbiev. Like, how do you see that?
That's a travesty. That's what I see. That's how I see it. I mean, to have someone score 8 rounds for Beterbiev, I mean, come on, get some glasses, pops.
Right.
That's what I would say. That's what I wrote last night in the group Boxing. Like, I wonder when did those 2 judges last have their side checked? That's what I want.
Most certainly.
The guy that had it 116 or 12. I mean, come on.
Yeah, travesty right there in the sport. Miterspan says, I don't know why I actually thought Bivol would TKO Beterbiev. I thought he would be stopped on a cut or something. Yard really exposed Beterbiev's weaknesses, but I guess styles make fights. Certainly, leading into the contest, Miterspan, I've been saying this certainly for weeks, that I thought that it would be a late stoppage victory in favor of Dmitry Bivol. And at points, it looked like he was going to get there. He was going to get to that point. But it didn't happen in that regard. Styles certainly make fights, but I still think it holds true that Bivol was able to outpoint Beterbiev landing some clean shots, some clean and crisp shots on him, which showed that he can be hit. And this I knew, especially when it came to timing, because of the fact that Caleb Smith was able to do so and dropped him in the only time he's been dropped in his career that I know of thus far. So that is something that.
You mean Callum Johnson?
Callum Johnson, yes, rather. Thanks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I believe that Beterbiev fought someone that he is such a masterful boxer and he has got the speed, the reflexes. I mean, Gvozdyk, you might call him a boxer, but he's also kind of a boxer puncher. I would call him more like that. And he did kind of have some problems with Gvozdyk also, but eventually he broke him down and stopped him. But Bivol is just better than Gvozdyk, obviously, and he's got better reflexes and all that. Like, just a better overall boxer.
Yep, indeed. Shout out to Dion Club, says biased Tim Bradley doing his usual. I got you. Shout out there to you, Dion. Be sure to go check out the Ball and Budge podcast with my man Clubber D on there, as well as Omar doing that thing. So be sure to go check them out. Miter Span says Beterbiev knew he didn't really win. He had his head down and looked quite dejected. We know the truth. That's why boxers need to learn to knock people out and not let the judges decide. That is definitely something right there. Something to be said about that, Miter, as far as going into certain situations, getting a guy out of there. And, of course, Beterbiev is someone who hasn't been knocked out, but you wonder if Bivol would have pressed a bit harder, that would have exposed him to more risk and vulnerability, but could he potentially have gotten him out of there?
Just gonna go out for a second, but I'll be back. Just I need to do my
yeah. No problem there, Bob. But essentially, you have to wonder if it was one of those situations where had he pressed a slight bit harder, could it have potentially resulted in a situation where we got Bivol in the process of getting Beterbiev out. I think that there's a strong possibility that could have happened. That being said, he could have also risked himself and him being knocked out himself as well. So that's something to think about. And when you factor that in, you understand why, of course, feeling and knowing that he was actually outboxing Beterbiev, he might have, not went for the knockout specifically. You kind of put in that work and all of that stuff, or just in general, fighters, even on the amateur side, they put in the work, they do their portion, they get there, and the expectation is that, they're going to get fair judging, fair officiating, and an overall fair shake at everything, and that doesn't always happen. So it is unfortunate in that sense that we have situations where on the more administrative side, boxing isn't putting their best foot forward. We aren't putting the best judges in place. It's things of that nature that I think also a damper on the sport.
I mean, but he really looked. He started kind of slow. I wonder whether that was intentional or not. Maybe I think it took him some time to figure out Bivol, probably. Yeah, because I think in the first 3 rounds it was all Bivol. Because Beterbiev was nowhere to be found. Really. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say he never quite figured out Bivol from an overall standpoint. He found moments where he could get in and land some shots, started to work the body. But as far as him figuring out Bivol, I don't know that ever happened. And he was outboxed in this contest. You can say that it was more brute from Beterbiev, but at the end of the day, I just felt he was outboxed. So. But, some would say cry me a river. You look at the comments and stuff on social media and all that. It's evident that many fans felt that it was a robbery, essentially, as it related to Dmitry Bivol. But you have some who think that Beterbiev won. And yeah, it's one of those varying reasonings thing.
Apparently, Radio Rahim doesn't agree that it was a robbery. I saw his Instagram post. He's making fun of that claim, even. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's interesting. Miners fan says they were
Uh,
definitely all biased for Biev. He is a knockout fighter. That's what people like. There may or may not have been a
yeah,
certain
that's
religious
that's what
bias
I was gonna
too.
say.
That's another
Yeah,
kind of yeah, interesting. Yeah, you're right.
that's what I was gonna say. It all depends which fighter also you prefer and what kind of style of fighting you prefer. So
Yeah,
if you are a big punching knockout RS fan, then you of course you wanted to Beterbiev to win, and you got what you wanted. So you're not gonna say, "Oh, it was a robbery," it wasn't fair. Of
oh
course,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But no, you're right. It is, and that's an interesting one. Might have been the potential religious bias too. That's an interesting one for sure.
yeah. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I know. I heard that Chechen's president was there actually in attendance. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. It is really crazy. So that's one certainly a
yeah,
conversation there, Miter. That's certainly a conversation to be had. Dion Clubs, Bivol boxed a great fight, but if he stood his ground, he could have been KO'd. Yes,
yeah.
certainly. He had moments where he was doing that for sure, and he left himself open to where he could have potentially been knocked out. I felt so. Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
interesting situation. Hanging in the pocket a little bit more, yeah, would have made him a bit more vulnerable.
yeah, he had to be cautious. So, but that's why he was punished for that. That's very unfair. I mean, what was he supposed to do? Leave himself open to get knocked out? Come on.
Right, right, and yeah, it's very interesting. I'll say. Salute to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz and More says salute, brother Josh and Boz. Hey, appreciate you dropping by here. Uh, Bruce, be sure to go check out Bruce, folks. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and More. He has a channel here on YouTube. A lot of good, entertaining stuff. He does a show with Terrible Tim Weatherspoon, the former world heavyweight champion there. So be sure to check out Bruce Gas. And then Bruce Gas says only casuals thinks it's a rivalry. Bruce, so Bruce is on the side of Beterbiev in this one. Yeah, I think
Shame on you, Bruce.
got you
Come
there,
on,
Bruce.
it was a robbery. You know it.
I think it's certainly subjective. Maybe robbery is strong, and some have considered it. Some are considering it a robbery, but it's one of those fights where you could argue it could have gone either way. I lean on the side of Bivol there,
I mean,
Bruce.
that's I never really liked that kind of expression. It could have gone either way. Like, what does that mean? Yeah, I mean, it should have gone the other way. It'd be Wolf's way in the cars.
Yeah,
That's what I can
yeah.
say. I
It should
mean,
have gone. Yeah, it should have
I
gone.
saw it. Yeah, it only means, yeah, of course, I get that. Not all people see this the same way, of course, but that's because those people are influenced by their feelings for that particular fighter. So, of
Yeah,
course, you see the punches that your favorite fighter lands, and you kind of ignore the punches that he takes, very often. So when you see, oh, he's landed that and that good punch here and there, that means he's won. That's how their logic goes. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Bruce Gas says, though I'm not on Beterbiev side, it was a close fight with three judges. There's got to be a winner and a loser. Yeah, it happens.
was
It
close,
happens.
but
Or a
kind of.
draw.
I mean, it's not that close that it could be left to several different interpretations, to put it that way. I mean, in those rounds that Bivol won, he was really dominant, I would say, except maybe last round. I thought he just snatched that one. So, yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
certainly one of those. Ren Show. Hey, what's going on, Ren Show? He said, yo, can D Ho one in the press conference? You can do one.
That one was a little hard to
Oh, yeah.
decipher.
You saying Bivol? I think you might be saying Bivol because I thought Bivol, yeah, he didn't make any excuses or anything, certainly.
Yeah, he was.
Certainly. But
Yeah, of
appreciate you
course.
there, Red Show. Thanks for dropping by.
Of course, Eddie Hearn was furious and with the decision.
Oh yeah.
So
Miter doesn't think it was a robbery. I just think it was a draw because both had shining moments. They should have kept their undefeated records. We would have gotten a rematch anyway. Close fight, certainly.
yeah, that's all right. I can accept that somebody thinks a draw, but I mean
Mhm.
also in the fan zone, how it's called last night in the zone, which I was there watching. Many thought in the end that they were saying either Bivol or a draw. Like they were, not many were saying Beterbiev had won really. So
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
No, I'm with you there. Shout out to Ernest Johnson in the mix here. Be sure to go subscribe to Ernest Johnson. Check him out on the Tim and Tim show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, right there. Papi Chunyeyo, appreciate you dropping by. He says, Bivol put on a masterpiece of boxing, a killer. Yep,
Yeah,
put on a
for
masterpiece of
sure.
boxing, a killer. Certainly. That's how you do
Beautiful.
it. When a guy is known for that knockout punch and power, that brute force, and charging his way
Mm.
in, that's how you show how you can control and manipulate the ring in your favor, right there. And I think that was a masterpiece in that sense, right there, Ernest.
Yeah. I mean, he was just beautiful to watch as always. We all. So yeah, if you also judge by that, by who looked like more beautiful to watch, of course, Baby Wall wins that contest. Yep.
Oh yeah, certainly. Ernest says if Beterbiev had a healthy knee, I think he would have stopped him. I had it a draw. I think his knee was healthy. He was moving like
Yeah.
he typically moves, as far as I'm concerned. There, Ernest. I think that the knee wasn't an issue whatsoever. That's how he's looked in all of his fights.
Yeah.
You know,
It
he
was
just
like
had
five
trouble dealing with
months.
the footwork of Bivol.
The surgery was 5 months ago, so it should have been fine. I hope. I was also hoping that if Beterbiev lost, that his people will not make such a big excuse out of
Yeah,
that with me. But that
yeah.
wasn't necessary in the end.
So Ernest, you had two 10-10 rounds. We don't do 10-10 rounds around here. From these
I
parts,
do
we don't
that.
do 10-10 rounds right there, Ernest. No love.
Round 7 probably was a 10-10 round. I would say for sure. Yeah.
We're talking to
That
winners
was
and
like,
losers. You can't have a 10-10 round. Somebody got to get that
yeah,
round.
I mean, one guy first, I don't know who won the first half, but the other guy then came back and won the second half. So, what are you going to score then? It's got to be a 10-10. So, yeah, I would probably have it 115, 114 for Bivol, in
Oh yeah.
hindsight. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Miters fan said it doesn't necessarily have to be a winner or loser, but if both had shining moments, why they judge Fury Wilder a draw, but not this? Confusing. No, I'm with you there. But Miter, here's the interesting thing. I went back as a part of Fight Night Scores on the channel at Fight Night Scores, and we did a
Yeah.
live rewatch and rescore, and we used the app, the
Mm.
platform, fight-score.com. And I actually had Wilder winning going back and rewatching that and
Yeah.
rescoring that. I had Wilder winning that contest with Fury, which is absolutely crazy because prior to that, I thought that Wilder only won 2 rounds.
He
So
actually did.
certainly, yeah,
I didn't,
certainly.
but yeah.
Did you score it with us, boss?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I believe I had Fury winning by, I don't know, a couple of
Oh yeah,
rounds or
oh yeah. You did, but yeah,
something.
hey, there's a close one right there. There's a close
Yeah.
one.
It was, I mean, but I remember many people back then were saying, oh, Fury like won 8 rounds. And I think I had first given him 8, but then I gave 7, I believe, when we were scoring it. Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but it
certainly.
was a little closer than I had thought originally, that fight. That's what I can say, yeah.
Yeah. Some would argue, yeah, there's some craziness right there.
Yeah. But,
Ernest says Bivol was every bit of the skilled boxer we thought he was. Certainly, most certainly there.
yeah, of course. He's like, I don't know who to compare him with. Tommy Loughran or Gene Tunney or whatever.
Oh yeah. Miter says all money motives, biased judges should be fined henceforth. Illogical rulings are obvious. 116 for a Beterbiev is ridiculous. Yeah, that's saying that Beterbiev got 8 rounds out of that. I don't know.
No way. No way, no way.
Can't see it at all right there. Run Show says, thank you. First time here. Great show. Hey, appreciate you there, Run Show. And I see you have a picture in your thing, your profile of a boxer. I'm trying to make out who that is. It's old school right there.
Yeah, could be several people.
Yeah, I can't fully make out who it is. But if you do some historic content, certainly gonna check you out. And folks, check out Ren Show there. Welcome to the channel for sure. A lot of historical content on there here in the archives and some things being worked there, Ron Show. So appreciate you there for dropping by. Miter says, I definitely thought Bivol did enough to win, but was sure they'd go for a draw when they announced a majority decision in favor of Beterbiev. I was shocked. Not even a split decision. Yeah, right. I was too.
Sure. Yeah, I was sure it would go to Bivol. So when he said Artur, I was like, oh no.
Right. And when they said 116, 112, I was like, okay, yeah, Bivol got this.
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah, maybe you can justify him getting 8 rounds.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. My partner, she has her thoughts as well, and think that I think she has her thoughts. I'll say.
And I like that. It's a fight where like in America, you cannot be that biased because well, you can, but not as much because neither guy is from the States or neither guy.
Oh yeah, you're right. Hey, Miter fan says I had Wilder winning too. Finally, someone real. People act like we're insane out here. You don't just come to the champion's country and take his belt without putting in work after being knocked down 2 times. Yeah, indeed, there, Miter. Indeed, yeah, rescoring it. So watching it live, yeah, I thought the other way, but going back and watching rescoring it, Wilder, I thought, deserved that victory there, and it should not have been a draw. Wilder should have gotten that victory, Miter. So it's crazy. It's good going back and reflecting on some of these fights and rescoring some of these fights because you see these types of things right here. So, Miter, yeah, you're not the only one. Definitely, I had to. So I recanted, I think then, and I recant now any thoughts I had of it previously. But Deontay Wilder won that fight, no doubt about it. So,
I don't think so. No way, man.
It's an interesting one though. But hey,
maybe that was a fair. Maybe I don't know. But that wasn't Fury at his best. He just come back after a long layoff. So he showed his best in the rematch for sure.
Oh yeah, he did. He did bounce back, most certainly. Shout out to Remy. Remy sent the super chat. Appreciate you there, Remy. As always, there, Remy holding it down, showing some love there. Remy, be sure to go subscribe to Remy, folks. Remy is always doing some great things right there. Be sure to subscribe, follow Remy. Remy, as I've always mentioned, yeah, definitely appreciate it there, buddy. So shout out to you. Hope all is well there on your end. And of course, we know Vince, he fought as well. We'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about old Vince doing his thing. Cool. But yeah, big shout out to Remy there doing this thing. So thanks.
Did you see what happened in that Ben Whittaker fight? That was crazy. That ending versus Liam Cameron. Yeah, I couldn't believe that Liam Cameron actually thought he had won. He was like very pissed about the decision, but it shouldn't have even been a draw. I thought Whittaker was winning that fight. Like 3 rounds to 2 at least, or 4. I don't. Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah, I saw what happened. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did catch that. Someone had mentioned it earlier. It might have been about the Ben Whittaker contest. Let me see here. But I was able to catch that. So yeah, might have mentioned it. Might have mentioned Ben Whittaker disappointed a lot of people in his fight. I watched it, and I think he was getting unfairly criticized. I hope the doctor proves his injury for his sake. Great entertaining night for sure. Yeah, I was able to see what happened with him. I wasn't able to fully watch the fight just in detail because I couldn't at that time. But I saw what happened. I was watching that when that happened in terms of them going out of the ring, and some think, bless you. Some think that Ben Whitaker was faking it. I'm not sure. He seemed to be pretty hurt. You never know, but he seemed to be hurt. Again, only kind of take him at his word or face value then and there. I think we've seen some instances where some have gone out and it's probably a bit more questionable than I think this one in terms of he seemed to be aiming towards his knee. And Liam Cameron, he seemed to have a little bit of success, whether that was enough that he was coming on and was about to upset the apple cart, I don't know. But you seem to lean towards Whitaker as far as being up in the contest. So I'd imagine it could have varied, and maybe Whitaker would have come on and potentially even stopped him. I thought Whitaker would get a stoppage in the contest at some point just because I felt like this was a chance to prove himself against an opponent that he would get some credit for sure as far as stepping up a bit more. But of course, we didn't get to see that there. But yeah, the injury in itself, I mean, they took him out of there in a wheelchair. I don't know if there's been anything released yet, but I don't know if he was faking it.
I don't know. Bad. Yeah, I don't think he was. I mean, it was a weird how they kind of just, kept going until they all both went over the rope side. That was weird, really. I mean, they were saying, the commentators weren't sure if Cameron was pushing Whitaker or if Whitaker was grabbing Cameron. So that was weird.
Yeah, I think be a mix of kind of both of it, but it's just an interesting situation for sure. So I'd like them to at some point rematch and we can kind of settle the score for once and for all. Ernest real quick mentions Turkey had Bivol by 2 rounds. That's saying something right there. Certainly saying something, I would say. But I'd be down for Whitaker versus Cameron rematch. What do you think, Boz? Would you want to see a rematch or you think it's like on to the next thing?
I don't know really. I mean, Cameron, I didn't really know him before, but it's fun. They could make a rematch. I wouldn't be against it, but maybe I don't know. It's very necessary, completely necessary. But yeah, man. By the way, I was looking through these results last night from Japan, and man, that guy Casimiro, he won again by first round knockout. How amazing is he? Oh man, he was fighting a really good fighter. Yeah, Saul Sanchez. So I don't think he got stopped ever before, Sanchez.
Oh wow! So Casemiro back in the mix. I had heard he missed weight, but maybe not.
Yeah, he did actually miss the weight, but it wasn't a title fight. I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. So he came in at 124. Okay, I'm seeing. But hey, Casemiro, man, he shows that power is indeed still real, and we haven't seen him as active, but maybe this puts him in the billing for the discussion surrounding a contest with Nonito Donaire. I mean not Nonito Donaire, they were gonna fight, but Naoya Inoue. Maybe that puts him in that discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because he came out dispatched of Sanchez in this fashion, that could definitely add to some things. Or to the discussion in some sense. So
that would be really one hell of a firefight.
Indeed. In regards to that Tyson versus Jones, I don't recall fully with that one, but it seemed to be it could have been a mix of both of that, some bias for Tyson there. I thought Jones held well, but they were both not going super hard at each other. This is in relation to that, but Wilder was using that jab in that contest with Fury, though. You're right about that, Miter. for sure. And Ernest mentions we were right about Vince. Yeah, certainly. You know what? I saw that the verdict in the situation that was at hand there, Ernest, is pretty crazy. Thanks, Remy. So in the chat, Remy
in
dropped the link
Japan.
to the fight between Vince and Hiroto Kayaguchi, which is one to check out. So Vince Paras, he went up against in the trilogy match with Kayaguchi, of course, back in Japan this time around. And Kayaguchi
In
got the
Japan,
decision.
it's hard to get a decision for a foreigner there. And South Korea as well. That's
Yeah,
very famous or infamous for that.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy. So yeah, we'll have to talk about that. But I still need to see that. It came on so early. I was gonna try to get up. I actually set an alarm, but I didn't actually get up to watch it. But I'm gonna go back and check that out. So thanks for dropping that in there, Remy, for sure. Miter Span says that Whitaker situation shows how quickly people turn on boxers, especially showboaters. They are hating on him because he's cocky. Same with drunken master. Then he asked, y'all think Eubank Jr. destroys Ben? What do you think of that?
Eubank Jr. He looked good last night, even though he fought a guy that was obviously past his best and all that. But he just looked in good shape and physically and all that. It didn't look like it didn't hurt him that much. The 1 year of inactivity. So
that I thought so as well. He had some very good moments. He dropped him.
More than
once.
once.
Was it twice?
3 times.
3 times. Okay. Yeah, and eventually got that stoppage victory. Right, wasn't a stoppage victory?
Yeah, it was. The referee stopped it.
Yeah. So because I was watching, I saw knockdowns happening. I didn't get to see it in full totality because I wasn't able to do so as I was doing something else. But what I saw, he did look good. Eubank Jr. looked explosive at moments. I mean, he dropped him early too. I think it was the first round. He dropped him in the first round, right? And he looked explosive in doing that. And from there, he seemed to hold up. I wonder if he's found his groove now in terms of with all the trainer changes and such. Maybe he's found that and he's in the place that he wants to be here now. And you're right, Szeremeta, probably a bit past it, older. Around my age. That's older.
They said he grew. They said in his last fight he had drawn against some club fighter from Ecuador. So Szeremeta. He's never been a real world class either, but he's a tough guy, and he fought the best once.
Then we saw the Korean show between Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. So what do you think about that contest?
I don't know really. That would be a little physically of a little bit of a mismatch, I think, because Ben is like a welterweight, maybe super welterweight at most. So and Chris has never fought at that weight as a professional anyway, as far as I know. So he's been on super middleweight also, of course.
So I'd imagine they're going to do a catch weight, right? Because Ben kept saying he's the best welterweight in the world. I don't know if that was alluding to Eubank Jr. coming down to welterweight, which I don't think would be a good thing. But
well, I don't know. Ben has his old mouth. I mean, as far as I can see, he's got too much mouth and has done too little to back it up. And I hope John Ennis was listening because he will want to maybe teach him a lesson in future.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the best welterweight out there.
Well, that's who he's going to have to go through to prove this that he's talking.
For sure.
That is who he'll have to go through. So that if he wants to prove that he's got Matchroom is there, so they're under the same stable, so it can happen.
Yeah. Matchroom and of course. No, I think Ben is just delusional and like his father was also a lot of talk but he kind of backed it up usually. But Conor Ben, he's had a couple of good wins, but it was
Hmm.
against people who had seen better days. Chris
Yeah,
Herden and what's his
Algeria.
name? Yeah, Algeria. Yeah, that's right. So
Stop.
you gotta prove yourself against the people who are among the best and prime also before you start talking. I'm the best. I'm this. I'm
Yeah.
that. The
And, you
best.
know, when he made an initial comeback in his first fight, it was here in the U.S. I think he was fighting at 154 against a guy, and he looked small there at 154.
Right. He's like
Uh,
5'8", and yeah. So
so 147 is probably going to best suit him. That being
yeah,
said, like you said, there are some challenges there, and you
I,
got to go through Duran Ennis to if you're going to be considered the
yeah.
best in that division. Hey, and I like to see Imantis Stanionis. That's a good challenge right there.
I was just thinking about something. Imagine if Campbell hadn't moved up to 147 and he fought against Conor Ben. What a fight! The
Hey,
legacy
they,
fight.
they, hey, you know what? You throwing that bug in some people's ear now. Maybe that's something
Yeah,
that they gonna make happen at some point.
yeah.
I
Who
can see
knows?
it
But
happening.
Campbell is so far maybe not big enough for 147, but he might grow into it like his dad
Yeah, he
did.
might grow.
Also.
He's
Yeah,
got a little ways to go in a lot of regards, but maybe eventually it's just like, hey, it is what it is. Let's throw him out there. Let's make this fight
yeah,
happen. But that is one to watch for sure.
yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, shout out Remy real quick. Says same thing that happened to Bivol happened to Vince in the championship round, uh, in the championship rounds. But I had Bivol winning. Got you there, Remy. Got you for sure. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna have to check out because Vince Paras, he
for
was fighting
sure.
Hiroto Kayaguchi. Shout out to Vince. We always try and show love to Vince Paras here on the channel, all that good stuff. And he goes over, does his thing. But yeah, he was fighting in Japan, as we mentioned, and yeah,
Yeah,
this just went down hours
too
ago, so it's all fresh right now. It just went down hours ago. Uh,
Yeah, I'm sure Tim is very angry. Also, Tim
but
Skywalker.
yeah,
Shut up.
I bet it's kind of crazy. Um,
Yeah,
Miter says Eubank Jr. is just inconsistent, but I think the Ben fight is what everyone wants, so he'll bring it for that one. Just needs consistency and
right.
discipline. Yeah, he has been inconsistent. He's had some brilliant moments when he knocked out Ivani Yildirim. It was like, oh my God, who is this guy?
So
And then
ugly.
he's
Yeah,
had some other stinkers, or where he
yeah.
looked bad. He didn't look good.
Gross
Yeah, he
against
didn't look good
Gross.
against what's the
Yeah.
guy, Billy Joe Saunders.
He
Uh,
just kind of didn't look like he had much heart or against Gross. He was being really bullied and dominated there. Yeah, against the guy who also perhaps had seen better days already. So yeah, Gross.
yeah, yeah, certainly interesting stuff. Miter says Ben is a small fry, though. He talks like a big dog, but he will get got by Eubank. If not,
Hmm.
Eubank should retire. Certainly, you would think that Eubank is the bigger guy. You see him there face to face and everything. That's why I wonder about the weight. Like, what is this going to be contested at?
Yeah, and Ben hasn't fought, are like in a real fight for so long. Like, let me see, when was the last time when he? I mean, I know he had a
He
fight
fought
this
like
year,
twice
yeah,
since he's come back, right?
against some Peter Dobson. Well, that's all right, but
Oh,
still,
Peter
he was
Dobson. Peter Dobson is he's tough. He's a tough guy. He's got a chin on him. So he's
right.
solid. He's
It was
solid.
a decision.
That's a good one. I
So
think that was
yeah,
the first loss for Dobson, right? Or
right. Yeah, he was
okay.
16-0. So the fight with Chris Van Herden was like 2.5 years ago. So that
All
was
right.
his last one where he fought somebody who had kind of a name, you might say.
Has Van Heerden fought since then? Did
Let's
you see if he fought
see.
since then?
No, he
Okay, yeah.
hasn't. So
I didn't
that
think so.
knockout, that was a pretty bad knockout. Obviously hurt him, so he
Yeah,
couldn't come back.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's Yeah, that is. I figured though that might be the case because because Van Heerden, he's been around for a good little bit. I remember Errol Spence beat him. He was
Yeah,
making some punishment in that fight, and it just had to be stopped. He was going to try and keep going, but man, he was taking some punishing blows. It just shows how tough he is. He's a tough guy for sure.
oh yeah,
Uh, Dion Club's weird fall, no wild antics in that fight. Speaking of the Whitaker fight, salute there to you, Dion. Be sure to go subscribe to Dion there in this channel. But yeah,
so,
no antics from Whitaker. I thought he was coming in focus. It seems like that was the aim at the very least. And
but
we ended up in this situation.
we haven't mentioned yet the Opetaia fight.
Oh yes, we got to get to that one. Yeah, because we're at 50 minutes right here, and the Frazer Clarke, Fabio
Yeah,
Wardley. Matter
that
of
was
fact.
nasty.
Yeah, we can start with Jay Opetaia. So yeah, I was seeing that Jay Opetaia against Massey, or Jai Opetaia against Jack Massey. This was a cruiserweight championship fight. Opetaia, I just think Opetaia, as far as the down under, Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania, all of that area down there, Oceania, I think the best fighter out of there right now is Opetaia. I mean, I just think he has the footwork. He's able to move well. He has enough of the punch, pop, the power.
Yeah,
He can box, a mix of all that. And he has a solid beard as well. We know he fought a broken jaw for the majority of the contest with Bridas in his first title bid or first shot at a world title, and he came out victorious. So I just think Opetaia is a guy. And Massey, I think many of us there, Boz, knew that Massey, of course, would be game, but probably wasn't going to come out on top in this contest. And that was exactly the case. He never was able to really do much to threaten Opetaia from an overall standpoint. But what did you think of Opetaia and what could be next for him as well?
Yeah, he just looked sharp, really sharp. I was a little surprised when it got stopped, but it was the right decision. I just didn't think that they would stop it yet. I mean, but yeah,
Saving from himself.
Yeah, it was just too much, of course, as far as I think he would be for Massey.
Yeah.
On another level, really. But what's next for him? Yeah, well, there will, as the commentator said, soon there is a fight between Chris Smith and Zurdo Ramirez. So, and that's also a title unification fight. So it would be good for Opetaia to fight the winner of that fight. I think it's in November. Is it probably? So to get an undisputed champion there as well.
Oh yeah, be dope.
First one since Usyk. That would be the fourth one in history. I think.
November 16th in Saudi Arabia. But that will be another chance at undisputed at cruiserweight, which at cruiserweight is it's a good division, very good division. It always has been, at least it has been for a long period of time there. So I see that. So that should be a good contest.
Yeah, exciting because these are big men, but not too big, too slow. They can move and have some speed and stuff.
So that'll be a good one. Who do you like? Who do you like? Chris Smith, Zurdo. Who do you like in that matchup?
Wow, that's a good matchup. But I probably favor Zurdo a little bit. I think his skills are a little better than Bivol Smith. Bivol Smith has surprised me recently against Riyadh. Really good performance. All credit for that.
Yeah, certainly.
But I mean, they are about equal size-wise, height, and all that. So there is no advantage for anybody there. But Zurdo is just a really fantastic fighter. He looked poor against Bivol, but I think that also has something to do with him not being very comfortable at 175.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, big guy, and he left that division right after that also. So, but it will be a tough fight. I expect a really competitive fight. So probably I lean towards Zurdo on points there. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I had to think about it, but that's a That's a good one right there. Might lean that way. I know the activity might be on the side of Zerto, or should be on
Yeah,
the side of Zerto. But CBS, solid guy for sure. So it should be interesting. I need to think about it a little bit
yeah. I
more, but
think
I might lean that way.
CBS probably hits a little harder than Zurdo, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. So
But
he's got that chance, the puncher's chance. Yeah.
yeah, so that's an interesting one. I look forward to it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure who I lean towards. So I'm with you. It's an interesting one. But yeah, Jesus says no rematch necessary. Bivol versus Biev. Rather see Morel versus Benavidez winner to face Beterbiev mid 2025. I don't know about that, Jesus. It seems like a rematch is in order. I feel I would like to see those contests too.
Whenever you heard wants a rematch, she gets one usually. That's how it works.
Jesus said, "Let's move on. Forget that rematch." But hey, I feel you there, Jesus. I definitely take
Well,
Beterbiev versus whoever comes out on top in Morel Benavidez, which should be a very interesting fight right there too.
yeah, I think at this point, Beterbiev is gonna slow down and has probably already started to slow down. So I don't know if he could win against any of those guys. Probably not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Remy says Ben is mysteriously lacking power and stamina. LOL. Yeah. This is that
Ben,
return.
yeah, Ben is
Good point
just
there, Remy. Yeah, you might
his
not think
ego.
that out.
His ego will be his downfall for sure. I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miners fan says if Ben won, people would always question if he was on something enhancements. I just hope the fight is made and that Ben doesn't screw up again. They need to focus on this. 30 years in the making. Yeah, Ben needs to not eat those eggs anymore. You stay off the eggs and just chill out a bit. Go with
Yeah, that was really. I mean, when I found out that he had cheated to be able to beat up Eubank, I'm like, I was furious. I'm like, oh, you mother,
too many
this,
eggs. There's too many
yeah,
eggs here, guys. I don't know.
Benny Eggs. There was this wise guy called Benny Eggs. So this is we can call him Ben Eggs, maybe.
Eggs. You gotta watch those things. Yeah, you can't pick in too many. Shout out to Technique. Appreciate you there, Technique. Technique says the Opetaia dominated Jack Massey through throwing the towel was the right choice. I agree there. Massey, he's just going to continue to take punishment. And Massey had a honeymoon to go to. He was trying to go to a honeymoon all lumped up. And it was good that he got that thing stopped so he can make it on this trip, at least with some sensibility to himself. So I agree with you there. Technique mentions Frazer Clarke has a dent in his head. Let's talk about that one, Boz. I saw, man, that knockout was brutal right there. Frazer, his mouth was cocked to the side. It's like he lost all his motor senses there in that moment.
Yeah,
in the first round stoppage. Yeah, crazy.
He was doing.
Bless you.
He was looking really out of completely like, where am I? So that was kind of scary. Fight. Yeah, that right hand. That was it an uppercut or overhand? Right, I don't know. But mean, what power? I mean, we knew already Wardley could punch, but that was really amazing, man. That was a scary display of power, really.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, I hope certainly
will be all right. Yeah.
Shout out to Remy.
I don't know. There's something kind of sympathetic about him. Like he's not like as a fighter, he's nothing special, but he has a lot of heart and he's willing to fight the best he can get. So you gotta respect that. So.
No doubt about it. I like it. Remy sent a super chat. Too many eggs. Hey, appreciate you there, Remy. Yeah, hey. Right there. Word of the day right there. Too many eggs. But no, appreciate you, Remy, as always, man. I'm holding it down there.
Spiked eggs.
But no, that is funny. He says, yeah, spiked eggs in this thing. But yeah, man, I heard them saying that Frazer Clarke had a dent. I haven't seen any pictures or anything, but man, he took a hell of a shot. Well, hell of
Yeah,
a
his
number of shots.
cheekbone, I heard it got broken, so that's
Holy
nasty, of
crap.
course. That's
Yeah.
gotta hurt.
Yeah,
Really.
Fabio Wardley, Fabio Wardley. I know we've been saying that for a minute here on this show. He looks to be the goods. I think that,
Yeah.
yeah, he's ready
I
to
hope.
continue to step it up right now. You know,
Yeah,
you can continue.
he could fight, either, maybe someone like Johnny Fisher or Joe Joyce, even, I don't know, someone like that before he challenges for a world title.
Yeah,
I love to see him fight Dubois in near future. What a great British showdown that would be.
you
Yeah,
know. And I was thinking, oh yeah, that's another one. That's kind of what he alluded to right there. He wants the
right.
title, and of course we know the deal with 3 of the titles, but one is out there with Daniel Dubois. That would be an interesting matchup right there. And they match
Yeah,
up the same size wise as well, for the
yeah,
most
that's
part,
right.
at least. They're
Yeah,
about the
even
same
though,
size.
yeah, I mean, Dubois is kind of bulkier, but I
Yeah.
also, yeah, here for Fabio looked kind of like he had bulked up
But yeah,
before
you're
his.
right.
Yeah,
Dubois, he's a little bit bigger. Got have a little
yeah,
bit
but
more
Dubois
mass to
is
him.
he's a bear, yeah, of a man for
Yeah.
sure.
So that'll be an interesting one right there. You know, and I've thought about the Johnny Fisher one, but now I wonder, I don't know, is Johnny Fisher ready?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
the thing. He hasn't had that many fights, like 12 or something.
yeah, and you
So
know, some of those earlier ones will get some no hopers, but he stepped it up, you know,
yeah,
every time. And he's looked better now. He's gotten into better shape and all that stuff as well. So that kind of factors in. So
yeah. The question is, does he want to fight as big as that so early? And I think he would get knocked out probably by Wardley. So Wardley is
oh yeah,
just kind of faster and, yeah, too dangerous for him, I think. But
oh
we'll
yeah,
see. Yeah.
oh yeah, certainly. Shout out to Remy again with the super chat. Says Benavidez nor Morel are ready for Arthur, in my opinion. Oh yeah, hey,
They're
appreciate you
ready.
guys with me.
If they are not ready now, especially Benavidez, when? Like when will they be ready? Like,
Right, you know, the interesting. I think it's an interest. I think those are interesting matchups right there. Now, Morel Jr. A lot of people didn't like his last contest, but I think Kalajic was a very good fighter, and he
yeah,
made it tough on him. And Morel probably thought he was going to knock him out, and went to the well a little bit too much. And then
yeah.
he found himself in some situations where he was, you know, not throwing enough shots, and
Yeah, there's a question about Morel's power at 175. That fight kind of triggers the question: how much power does he have at
yeah,
175? So yeah, at 168, of course, he had power, quite a lot
yeah.
of.
The
But
level of pressure that Beterbiev applies makes me wonder how he'll look in there with Beterbiev. That's an interesting one right there as well. I think Beterbiev versus Beterbiev there, Remy. I think that's an interesting one. Beterbiev, he's a big guy in terms of overall from just where he came from, because he lost a bunch of
yeah,
weight from when he was younger or whatever. He's size wise, he's big. That's a good one. That's an
I
interesting
don't
one right
think that
there.
fight. I don't think that fight would go distance, man. I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't
so.
think so either. That's one I would want to see for sure.
Yeah, like
Benavidez versus
all out,
Arthur. If it's
all out war. Yeah,
if it's abundantly clear that we're not going to get Canelo versus Benavidez, then I'll take Benavidez versus Arthur
right.
Beterbiev.
I don't think we're gonna get it. No, no,
Doesn't look like we're gonna get it there. Not too confident on that end, huh?
nah. If it hasn't happened by now, I mean, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. Canelo isn't getting any younger either, so even
Yeah,
if it happened, he would be already perhaps not at his peak. So Benavidez wouldn't get enough credit for beating him. So
yeah, yeah. Very
that's
interesting.
mhm.
Remy says 2 more fights. Hey, might be ready. 2 more fights. They might be ready in that particular time frame. You know. Miter says always a good chat, gentlemen. We'll definitely still have a conversation until next time. Appreciate you there, Miter, for sure. Jesus says fighters are taking advantage of Turkish making the fight close to make rematch to cash in Turkish Saudi abundance of cash. Hey, you could be on to something right there, Jesus. You most certainly could be on to something. Then Jesus says Wardley versus baby Jarrell Miller, F.A. Ajagba. I really like that one, F.A. Ajagba specifically there.
Or even maybe, I don't know, Caballero, but he will be wanting to fight someone.
Caballero. I imagine Caballero wants a shot at the title as well, considering the work he's
doing. Sure.
But but I wouldn't mind Fabio Wardley versus F.A. Ajagba. Why not there, Jesus? That would be a very good one. Jarrell Miller, not as much. I'm not saying that was one that couldn't. I watch it if it happened, but I certainly
that would be pretty ugly fight. Yeah, pretty ugly fight that would be.
Yeah. I think Wardley and Ajagba, that's a good spot, good test for both of them to see what the deal is, who's going to be that real deal, because F.A. Ajagba, he didn't do well against Frank Sanchez, but that was a few years now, and he's looked better as time has gone on here, and I think he's got a win over Vito, right? Guido Vianello as well. In that So
that was a close fight,
So I'd like to see that. Yeah, I'd like to see Wardley versus F.A. Ajagba. Hopefully that's one that can get made right there. I just think it's interesting because I want to see F.A. Ajagba. I just want to see where he's going to end up as well. But I know Wardley. I favor Wardley in that contest. But F.A., he's shown that he has the power, even though he hasn't shown it as much here over the last few years. But we know it's in there. So glad to see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then, hey, Edis, salute to you there, Edis.
Oh, Edis. ¿Cómo está?
Thanks to you, Edis. Salute, guys. Did you see Wardley versus Clarke? That was fire. Yes, sir. We saw that. Edis. It was. We were just talking about that.
Not too much fire, but there was fire. It didn't last
for a short period there. It was like a big bang. It was more like the Big Bang.
Yeah, Big Bang.
But I thought Wardley would get the stoppage this time around, and it seems that he, based on his comments after the fight, there's like, hey, he had him hurt last time. He didn't take advantage of it in the last fight enough, and this time he wasn't going to let that happen. But man, hey, and both of them were respectful with each other and all that stuff too. So salute to that. Wardley, he could have tried to hit him again right in the midst of that stuff, and he didn't. He held off right there. So good sportsmanship, because Clarke was done. And I will say that Clarke, that was the type of knockout. We'll have to see how he comes back from that. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's right. Paco and Caballero. I didn't know they were fighting.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I said, Bacoli, that'll be an interesting one, too. Yeah, Bacoli. But I got you there, Udis, because
Bacoli. You say, right, I say Bacoli, like this.
Yeah.
Bacoli.
Yeah, I think either one works there, but yeah. So, that would be a good one, too. So, I can respect that. And Ajagba, I want to see Ajagba tested against someone, too, though. He needs to fight someone else to see where he truly is after the build-up and all that stuff. But good stuff. Here, lastly, that we're going to end this thing here in a sec. But I wanted to mention Sky Nicholson. She's got a victory over Raymond Chapman. Pretty dominant decision. So next in line should be Tiara Brown, who was going to fight. I was actually headed to her fight in Philadelphia. It got canceled because of visa issues for her opponent. So shout out to Tiara Brown. Still rocking with you. She'll bounce back. Also, Quincy Williams, he's a prospect to watch. Got a victory in Philly. Carmel Moulton, he was out there. He fought, got a victory. Another one to watch right there. Salute to them. Salute to Damon Nicholson, who made his return from retirement. Got a stoppage victory, a knockout victory, I believe it was, there in Bowie, Maryland. So salute to Damon. Also did his thing. And then there were some other fights, all that good stuff on some of these cards we'll have to get to at some point. But check in on what's coming up. But this was the big one right here, the big shebang. Junto Nakatani fights tomorrow in Japan, so it's going to be early here or whatnot. So Junto Nakatani, and hey, maybe after this, if he wins, we'll get Junto versus Takuma Inoue, and if he beats Takuma Inoue, Junto Nakatani versus Naoya Inoue. But that's all just kind of looking a bit far ahead right there. We got to see what happens, of course. Remy says Benavidez versus Morrell Jr. in December. 3 to 4 months later, another 3 to 4 months later, another then Beterbiev. Okay, yeah. Hey, I can see that, Remy. I think that's a good plan. And he just said, what do you think about Clarke? Will he come back after a broken cheekbone and a dislocated jaw? Oh, my. That's what it was. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. You can.
Cheekbone, yeah.
You can.
Yeah, that's
you got to be
hard,
made of something.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, and he's 33. So, yeah, you definitely yeah, you got to want it. You got to want it for sure.
You got to want it.
But yeah, good stuff though, folks. Yeah, hey, we appreciate everyone dropping by. Salute to all who dropped by. Salute to Remy for the super chats and all that stuff. Hey, you're good to go there, Remy. Appreciate you 100%. Salute to everyone who dropped their comments. We love interacting with all. So be sure to check us out again. We will be back here in the mix. So we didn't really get to what's coming up like that, but surely if there's something happening, we'll check it out or we'll talk about it for sure. But have a good one all.
Have a good one.